I spent the last 30 days meditating for at least 30 minutes every day, so you don't have to. But maybe you should. Here's what I learned. So, obviously, I'm going to talk to you about what changes I felt after meditating for 30 minutes every day for a month. Before I start, I want to really clarify that or what meditation is and really isn't. Meditation is not necessarily a religious practice. It can be. Uh, for me, it's not. It's a way. It's not a way of escaping reality. Uh, though you do have that daily reprieve just to kind of get away from things. It's not a magic pill that solves all your problems. It takes work. Meditation is a mind body practice that trains your attention and helps you be more present, more centered. It helps reduce stress and anxiety, and it just enhances your overall well being. There are many types of meditation, and throughout this challenge, I used a whole bunch of them. As you saw on my daily videos, I essentially went to YouTube and I ran the gamut looking for things, looking for meditations that would last me about a half hour. I did everything from mindfulness or Vipassana meditation. I did loving kindness meditation. I did, all sorts of stuff. I mean, I even tried to access the Akashic Records one time. I did transcendental meditation, which is something that I'm trying to take a deeper dive on right now. But kind of the overarching meditation practice, like the one that's kind of seen through out all the different meditations in one form or another, is mindfulness meditation. And in that mindfulness meditation, it involves you paying attention to like your breath or your body sensations, your thoughts and emotions, even your surroundings in a non-judgmental way. And that's the way that most of these meditations really were. Everything was meant to be experienced. It wasn't meant to be judged. So the goal is not to stop thinking or feeling, but simply observe. Take a look at what's floating through and what's breaking through your concentration or your focus in that meditation, and just kind of look at it with curiosity and compassion, and no real judgment, just pure observation. So I decided to try this challenge because I was feeling overwhelmed by the demands of my work, my family, and my personal life, and really my mental health was taking a toll. I was constantly worrying about the past, some of the things in my past that I really can't. I mean, I can't change anything that happened in my past, but also worried about things in the future. You know, I've mentioned I'm having another child. I'm concerned about having the money for another child. I'm worried about just everything that comes with having another child. There's a lot of stress that's been added on in these last months, and this 30-day challenge, which I don't want to call it just a 30-day challenge because I'm still doing it. I'm still meditating every day. But this initial 30-day challenge that I chronicled with my shorts, that's what I wanted to kind of work on. So there's apps that you can download for different meditations. For me, like I mentioned, I just used good old YouTube, where you're already at right now. There's so many good resources for meditation out there on YouTube. It's silly not to take a look and peruse through it. So at first, I found it very difficult, and really a lot of days still, I found it very difficult to sit still and focus on my breathing or whatever it is I'm supposed to be focusing on for this meditation. My mind was wandering all over the place, and I felt restless. Sometimes I felt bored. Sometimes I felt like I was never going to get it. I just wasn't. I don't know. There was a lot of days where I felt like this is all just a fantasy, that I want to be true but isn't for today. But then there were other days that it was just absolutely incredible. So I followed the instructions and I followed along with the different meditations that you guys saw. Um, you saw me in different positions, and I'm primarily upright, but a few times I got to lay down, some sit back, etc. So after a week of meditating every day, I started to notice some changes. I felt more relaxed, less tense throughout the day. I was sleeping better. I woke up feeling more refreshed. And I also noticed I was more aware of my emotions and how they affected my behavior, especially how they affected my relationships with my wife, my kids, my coworkers, my boss, just kind of everybody. I also noticed that instead of reacting impulsively or defensively, I was able to I was I was able to pull back and kind of look at the situation in passing the way that I was supposed to look at thoughts and interruptions through the meditations. I was able to view it with more curiosity and compassion and essentially indifference, and understand that in some instances there was nothing I could do. I had to just let it go. And in other instances, the things that I could affect, those were the things that I could put effort into. And because of the help with the meditation, I could think about it a bit more critically, a bit less emotionally, and I was able to really get in there and I don't know, just work through it. After 2 weeks of meditating every day, I noticed even more benefits. I felt more confident and optimistic about myself uh, and my goals. I was able to handle more difficult situations with more ease and resilience. It was around this time that uh, my wife had a spill down the steps, and we ended up in the hospital. And previously, in another pregnancy, if this would have happened, I would have been a tremendous just bundle of energy and angst and just needing an outlet. But I was able to be there for her and show support for her, and let the doctors do their thing, let the nurses do their thing, just let other people, the people who can actually make a difference, step in and do their job and take care of her. And she even commented that the person I was on that hospital trip was so different from our last two children. It was just night and day. It was just an overall more pleasant experience just to have me there and to have me relaxed, and I could just being the partner that she wanted to have around. Um, so like I felt myself like I was connecting more with myself, and I was connecting more with those around us. So I don't know. It was just it's hard to really put that into words. One of those like you got to experience kind of things. So I was learning to be more attentive to the things that I need. Like throughout this journey, I've started eating better. I've started being more mindful about trying to move about a bit more, taking care of certain things in the house a bit more. Yard work's picking up a bit. Now that is also having to do with the season, being the season that it is. Everything's growing like crazy, but what are you gonna do about it? And yeah, and that was just after a couple weeks. Now, after 3 weeks of meditating every day, I felt creative and I was inspired by new ideas and new possibilities. So, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, I wanted to start understanding myself a bit more, and I wanted, like, I've previously been a writer. Now, I've only got one thing published So I'm not like a prolific writer or anything, but I do enjoy writing. And one of those things that I wanted to work on was learning to journal. So it was during this time that I started to carry a journal, and I started documenting I really just anything. I'm still struggling with the journal. I have a hard time because, like, when I was writing, it was a creative writing thing, and now it's like a therapeutic type of writing. So I'm working on kind of putting together some resources for me to get better at the practice of journaling. And if you guys want, I could also share those resources with you. One of the things I'll have to ask permission for because it was something that my therapist sells through one of her classes. So I probably won't be able to give you guys that, but I can give you other resources that I found if that's something that any of you are interested in. So that's what I mean by feeling more creative and inspired by new ideas and possibilities. Uh, at work and at home, I found that I was better able to concentrate on my tasks and my projects. Um, some of that stems from my ADHD uh, and being really good at procrastination, and we have a deadline coming up soon for like a baby shower. So I know that I have to start getting things done, so that's starting to get done. But other parts of that is just feeling like I have the general energy and mindset to actually set to work. So I'm getting there. I found myself to be more joyful. I found myself to be more grateful for the things I have. And I even um, I wouldn't say I stopped wishing for more things, like wishing for the things I don't have. But I kind of got to this point where, like, I'm satisfied with what I have. Other things would be great, but I understand if they stay a fantasy, they stay a fantasy. It is what it is. But I can retreat into a special place in my mind if I want to, and there I can find that same inner calm and peace that I feel like I'm searching for in those things that I'm looking for. Uh, and with that, again, with the seasons changing, I got myself outside a little bit more. One of the things I started doing again was going out and going fishing every weekend. I won't be doing that this weekend because we have a baby shower and it's also supposed to storm and I'm barbecuing, so I just won't have the time. But I've been getting out and I've been going fishing, and it's something that I find therapeutic. A bit like Ron Swanson says in Parks and Rec, like he loves fishing because it's like yoga, but he still gets to kill something. And I mostly do catch and release, but that day I did catch a couple little crappies, so I took those back for me to eat. But that's neither here nor there. There's just I got to appreciate nature, and I struck up conversations with a couple of older gentlemen that were there, and they were telling me, what kind of baits they were using, and where the best spots on that particular lake were for different types of fish, and it was neat. It's not something I typically would have done, and yeah, and even my family, my kids, my loved ones started to notice a bit of a change. So after 4 weeks onto that final week of the quote challenge, I can say that it's changed me for the better. It's helped me reduce my stress and anxiety. I find that I'm able to focus better on the tasks at hand, both at home and at work, because so much of the meditation is being focused on one particular thing and then just kind of noticing thoughts and interruptions dispassionately. It allows me in my job and in my chores to see the distraction, go like, huh, cool, and get back to it. It's not something I would typically do otherwise. So it's been great. And again, meditation's not a miracle cure. It's not like it's not that magic pill. gonna just change everything as soon as you start doing it. It's gonna take work. It's I still have challenges. I still struggle with my mental health. I still struggle with my physical health sometimes, but meditation is giving me the tools to cope with them more effectively. It's also opened my eyes to just being in the now and not dwelling on the future or the past, which, the now is the only moment that we truly have, that we can truly control what's, around us and what we're doing. So if you're looking for a simple but powerful way to improve your mental health and your physical health, I would implore you to try meditation for yourself. You don't need any special equipment or skills, although I recommend a cushion if you're going to sit on the ground like I do. I actually have 2 couch cushions that I sit on. But whatever way you're able to comfortably get into a position to meditate, that's really the only thing that I would say that you need for equipment for meditation. All you need is a willingness to commit to a regular practice. It's going to take practice. It's like any other skill. You're not just going to pick it up from day one and be ready to run with it. So if you want to learn a bit more about meditation, how to do it, the benefits, how long to do it or whatever, I'm going to leave a few links in the description that I think will help you out with that, along with the card. I think it's here. Maybe it's here. I don't really know where to point for things on YouTube yet. Somewhere on the screen, I will have a card to the Zen with Ben playlist, which is where all of my meditations were. And if any of you have any questions, by all means, please leave it in the comments section. If you're listening to this on a podcast, because I am putting this into the Papa Bear at Home podcast. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that very much. And I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you around. Thanks.